sometimes there's projects going on that I'm not sharing with you, and it's not because I'm not sharing them with you. It's just like this hood latch assembly and this radiator fan shroud for the 47. I've just been chipping away at it between projects. But today, this one's done, it's painted, and it's ready, although I should hit the backside with some paint. This I need to do a little body work on. It's got a couple spots that need to be blocked out and get this painted and get everything moving forward to get this stuff bolted back onto our 47 Ford that we affectionately call Fat Fanny. Why do we call it Fat Fanny? Because it's a fat fendered Ford, and if you can't name it Fanny with another F, then it doesn't make any sense, right? So our fat fendered Ford Fanny, or our fat Ford fendered Fanny, or our fat Fanny fendered Ford, or I don't know. It's a tongue twister, is what I'm saying. Let's get after it.
This is My Cars Shop.
For the most part, this part is in really good shape. I had it all done, and it's just been kicking around forever. It got scratched up and beat up, and one spot actually chipped right here. So I've got a bunch of primer in there. But I think we're going to have to mix up just a little bit of filler just to be safe. We'll just put a little glaze on that. And I got a couple little runs we got to sand out. It's not going to take long to get this done. But being as I don't plan to run the hood on the car for a while, I think it's important to have this thing looking pretty respectable like that does. And it's just going to, stand out a little bit more. And we would like it to be a outstanding standout. Okay, had to run around and gather everything up. It's been a while since I've done this one. I shouldn't say too long because I just did the grill for this car. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. I finished the grill, painted it, and installed it on the car. So I'm going to get the hood down at some point and start working on that, but I'm really not anxious to put the hood on the car. That's not a showstopper for me. I almost like the car without the hood. But anyway, blah, 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 right? Nice. My hardener separated, so let's knead it. I need the hardener really bad. Okay, it's kind of like mustard, Okay, that's way too much. But it'll work. It's not being very cooperative. I should have used a knife or something a little bigger than this razor blade. I was thinking about what I was going to be using to spread it, and I wasn't thinking about mixing it. Normally I would use a Bondo spreader, but for this little teeny bit, plus I got all that stupid liquid, so that didn't help. Alright, this is mixed up good enough, I think. I hope. I said, it's just such a little teeny spot. I don't really need to get too wacko with it. Too wacko? Whatever wacko is, I have no idea. There we go. Scrape off the excess around the hole, so I don't have to do too much sanding. And we'll just put that over there. Don't drop it, it's a piece of glass. So while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and start sanding a little bit in other places. This is 220 grit, I think. This is some 180. This is 320. Let's use the little bit of this D8 disc here that I had kind of cut off. We're not looking to make it perfect. We're just looking to make it done. I see I got one more little spot right there. I might as well fill that if that stuff is still wet. I'll be right back. It was too dry, so I just actually mixed a little bit up with my fingertip and put it on there, and we're good. So let's continue sanding. We are going to be painting this satin black, so there's another spot. Man, there's all kinds of chips in this thing. Guess that's what happens when it kicks around for, 10 years. More than 10 years. So I did the bulk of the work on this car. Well, not the bulk of the work, but a lot of the work I did at my buddy Jim's place. I was there for about 2 years. And I remember doing this at his place, so it's been a while. And we've moved twice. 3 times since then. We've been here for 14 years now, I think. It'll be 14 years this summer, so 13 and a half years. Anywho, all right, I'm gonna not make you watch me sand for all of this. I'm just getting it scuffed up a little bit, making sure there's no other major imperfections, and we will be good to go. So here's what we got so far. I'm about ready to hit it with primer again. I just want to go over it with a Scotch-Brite, but there was a couple chips in here I was able to just block out because it had enough material on it. So overall, it's looking good. I don't feel anything in it anymore, and it is not going to be shiny, so we don't need to be worried about it being perfect. There was a heavy run in here. I got most of that out. Feels like I could use just a little more work right there. If I don't get that out of there, what's going to happen is that potentially could peel. So I better work on that just for a second, and then we'll be back. All right, gonna hit it with some Prep-Sol. Make sure everything's good and clean, and then we'll shoot it with some primer again. I don't have to hit the whole thing with primer, but got to hit enough of it. Definitely got to hit the spots I worked on. I suppose I could have painted this body color. I didn't think of that. Nah, it'll look good black. Okay. I don't see any major faux pas or kernel glitch or anything like that. I guess I better go gentle on the primer. I thought I had a lot more, and this is my last can, so we're going to really be gentle here. Just hit the spots that need to be dressed. Oh, I used this on the window tracks on the Oakland. That's why I don't have much left. Okay, that makes sense. Just want to get enough on there to bury some of that imperfections. But like I said, it's going to be satin, so satin hides a ton of sin. So, all right, that's about all we got for that. So we'll let that dry, and I think we'll be ready to hit that with some satin black. Okay, I think we're ready to hit that with some primer, or some satin black, I should say. So, get after it. I'm forcing this really fast, so there's going to be shrinkage, but I want to get it done. Okay, hopefully we don't get any magic runs. And the little bit of bullseyes that I saw are gone. I think they will be gone when this dries out satin. So, let's see, we got a spot. There's hazy. And probably all I'm going to do, I was thinking maybe 2 coats, but quite honestly, as good as it's looking, we may just stick with 1. It's going to get beat with bugs and all kinds of other stuff until there's a hood on. So when I get the hood on, if I want, we can just pop this off and redo it again. But that looks good. Let's get you over here and let you see it closer. There's no, that's where the bullseye was. That's gone. And when that satins out, it's going to look good. So it should dry out to look exactly like that. So we will learn our lesson. We're going to leave the shop for now. When you next see me, be in a few hours, we'll come back out and look at what it looks like after it has dried for a while, and then we'll go from there. I wished I had my oven hooked up I could throw this in the oven to bake it, and it would greatly increase my dry time, but I don't have my oven hooked up right now. But that's what it's for. Right there is for baking parts. I just need to get a 220 line from my outlet over to it, and I just haven't done that yet. So we could put stuff in there at about 170 degrees and bake it for 20 minutes to a half an hour, and it would be good. So that's the reason that's out here. It's not just here because it's garbage. It's one that I set aside from years ago to bake parts in. With faster drying lacquer-based type and acetone-based type primers, I just throw them over in front of the furnace and just let them force dry. But I don't want to do that with this because this stuff stays gummy for a long time. It's going to take a while. If it was a nice sunny day, I'd take this, I put out on the trunklet of the Golden Mullet in the sun, and it dried within 2 hours. So today it's not a great drying day, so we're gonna just, I'll be back, is what I'm saying. Well, it's the next day, and I was able to get the car in here with all the rearranging we've done in the shop in preparation for the new piece of equipment we have coming. I wasn't sure if I had enough room, but we do. I actually could have had the car over that way a little further. There's a few things I need to move over there to get the Challenger over further. So actually I've got a fairly decent work bay here, but today this is good enough. So this turned out really nice and satiny. It'll sit right in here. I got to find the nuts that go with these, or the bolts that go with these cage nuts that are in here. And then, of course, this other piece goes down on here. So we're going to start bolting all this stuff on the car, and we'll see where we end up. I think I'm going to possibly put a little of that thin gaskety tape stuff down on here just to protect the paint a little bit. I think that makes some sense. And, well, we'll just go from there. I'm going to make sure I put that back there so it doesn't fall onto my beautiful paint job. There we go. I got some gasket material cut to give me some cushion on the first part that we're going to bolt in. So we'll go ahead and get that done. And I'm thinking I may just take a little spot and just kind of stick those in place. I do have some spray trim adhesive. That might be the way to do it. Maybe I'll do that. I'll spray it and stick it down, and then we'll give that a minute to dry, and then we'll go ahead and put the other on. These are recessed areas here, and these are high spots here, so I'm only putting the rubber on the high spots there, and then of course it's flush mount over there. Here's mud in your eye. I think the thing to do is to try to get the bottom lined up first. Okay, I got a little bit of an issue here, and I don't have a tissue. Let's get a screwdriver and slide that in a little bit, if I can. That one did fine. This one here is, there we go. Yeah, the rubber was sticking out a little more than I was comfortable with. But once we get a couple of these snugged down, we'll be in like Flint. I gotta go get some nuts and washers. I'll be right back. Got my gaskets cut and glued, so they're on there now. Just letting them set up a little bit more. Found a couple of bolts that are going to work, I think, for up there, hopefully. So I think we're going to be good. So then we'll have 3 bolts here, here, and here to put in as well. Those are going to be a pain in the butt because I got to reach up underneath, but we'll get them somehow. That's the wrong size thing. So what size is that? Must be 3/8. I'll be right back. There we go, much better. Couldn't find the socket for my screw gun, but this is probably the better way to go anyway. I didn't find my foam, so we'll take care of that later. I may just order the gasket that's supposed to be in there. Boy, that's not lining up over here like I would like. Okay, I'm not going to get carried away on that one. I don't want to end up cracking my fender or something because there is a little skim coat of Bondo in some of these places. And then here, I just got to push her down in place and get some bolts in there. Oh, which means I got to reach up under there. That'll be a pain, but it's got to be done. So we'll get her done. Well, that's some good progress. That's for sure. Really happy. This car is a mess. It needs a good bath. And just so you know, if you haven't followed this project, this car hasn't really been sanded and buffed yet. So that needs to be done. So we'll get that done at some point here. One thing I try to do is on the satin stuff, I don't use spray detailer or wax or anything. I'll just use pledge or something like that. This is fresh, so I'm not going to use anything on it. I'll wipe it off here in a minute because I got smudgy fingerprints all over it. But yeah, we're looking good. So I'm just trying to get some of my smudginess off. And there's some fly crap and all kinds of other stuff. The car is not clean at all. But que sera, sera. You know, it is what it is. It feels good. So I need to make a decision on what's next. I do need to put a brake pin in. I've just got a temporary bolt in there right now. I don't know if I can get at that in there or not. I also need to look at the clock because I have a whole bunch of other stuff I need to get done today. But yeah, let me wipe this down just a little more and we'll give you a good shot on what she looks like. Yeah, she's looking good. Real happy with that. Getting more anxious to color sand and buff this paint, that's for sure. I realized I forgot to deal with these wires, but I can get them up out of there right now. They just need to be taped together. So when Becky and I do the wiring, we'll get that done. But everything's nice and tight. Everything's pretty. Our hood release cable thing here is going to work. These did have a cable hood release. I really like the way that looks. I really like it. Woohoo! Glass is going to drive me nuts. It's so smudgy. It's all brand new glass. I had a local company called Gary's Glass cut the glass for me. I had them do this, what they call it, bomber style windshield for me. Instead of having the post down the middle of the windshield, I had them glue that glass together like that. I like that really well on these cars. Oh man. All right. Well, I just looked at the clock, and as much as I would like to continue working here, I need to move on to other things today. But I wanted to get this on there. Part of it was just self-preservation of not wanting it kicking around in the shop and then getting damaged and then having to do it again. You know how that goes. So that'll do it for this one. I appreciate you being here. There'll be a lot more coming here on Fat Fanny, that's for sure. We got a lot of work to do yet, but Becky and I will be getting back on the wiring here soon. She and I had a conversation about it the other day, and she's ready to rock and roll on it. So, oh, that's right. I sprayed the valve covers down last fall when I put it away with silicone or WD-40 or something so they wouldn't rust. So that's why they look so slimy. But that's all good, and I appreciate you being here. Catch you on the next one. Oh, don't forget, besides these kinds of things making the rockin' world go around, it's also important. Rock!